Australia has introduced a ban on thick plastic shopping bags and mass balloon releases to cut down on single-use plastics. Now, authorities in 3 states are also outlawing a range of products, things like cotton bud sticks as well, polystyrene packaging too. Conservationists say that in the past 5 years, Australia has become a world leader in banning single-use plastics. Scientists say more than 171 trillion pieces of plastic are estimated to be floating in the world's oceans, and say that the number could nearly triple by 2040. Live now to our news correspondent in Sydney, Phil Mercer. Phil, now Australia's an interesting one. It's been working hard, hasn't it, for a number of years to sort of reshape the nation's attitude to waste, and in some ways, it seems to have a pretty complicated relationship. It's seen as a big offender, but also a world leader. So how does Australia stack up when it comes to pollution?
When you look at the timeline for Australia's bans on disposable plastic, back in 2018, the state of Queensland, for example, banned those lightweight single-use plastic bags. In 2021, the regulations were extended to include disposable plates and cutlery, for example. And quite certainly, Australia does have a plastic problem. It's estimated that Australians consume as much plastic that generates the equivalent to 5.7 million cars, producing the same amount of greenhouse gases as 5 million cars on the road. So quite clearly this country has a problem. There is no nationwide framework. Each of the 6 states and 2 main territories set their own standards. From today, in the state of Queensland, for example, it is now illegal to release helium balloons into the sky. Studies have shown that these balloons are particularly deadly to seabirds that often mistake them for food. In other parts of the country, Western Australia and South Australia, they're bringing in new regulations today too that cover the banning of polystyrene packaging and also those micro beads that are found in bathroom and cleaning products.
Now, Phil, a global comparison of plastic waste management placed Australia 7th among 25 nations for its sort of overall efforts to control plastic pollution, behind a number of countries in Europe, Japan, the UK and the US. Why does it struggle as much as it does when it's sort of rated first for promoting safe and informed plastic usage?
Well, conservationists would say in the last 5 years, Australia has become increasingly a world leader in dealing with disposable plastic, but they seem to say more needs to be done in terms of reducing Australia's overall consumption of plastic. As we say, consumption of plastic produces the same amount of greenhouse gases as about 6 million cars. So quite clearly, Australia has work to do in that area. Also, environmental groups say Australia needs to be a lot better at recycling. And part of the problem is this lack of a national framework. If you take helium balloons, for example, from today in Queensland, you can't release them. Here in New South Wales, Australia's most populous state, you can release up to 20 helium balloons under the legislation. Western Australia is generally considered to be the best performing Australian state when it comes to recycling, and Tasmania the least effective. So it is a bit of a mishmash around the country.
Thank you so much, Phil. Phil Mercer in Sydney, taking us through the latest